Welcome back into KCTV5 Plus. For this week's Behind the Story, a chilling FBI warning. Violent extremists are using online games and apps to reach Kansas City area kids. Anchor Sharon Chen broke down the warning from the FBI and the red flags that parents need to know right now. And I am now joined with Sharon. Sharon, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me here on KCTV5 Plus. And we're going to watch your story, but before we do, what's one detail that you learned that parents just cannot afford to ignore right now?
I think the one that stuck out for me the most is a lot of parents with kids and cell phones. You think, okay, well, I can set these restrictions in place, but it is what I learned. It's not just setting it and forget it. I mean, you really have to get in there to see what apps they're using, what games they're playing. But on top of that, who they're chatting with, because the activity that we're reporting about happens within those chat rooms, and it can start out very innocent and then just turn on a dime.
And I think that is the perfect turn into this story. Now let's take a listen in.
10-year-old Sanaya doesn't think much about what happens after she hits play.
Oh yeah, I can start the tournament.
For her and millions of kids just like her,
Now these are the after games.
online gaming is where you socialize,
No, stop.
make friends, and spend hours every day.
I come here after school every day.
Her playground, the Boys and Girls Club at Thornberry Unit.
I like to play Rumble Rush.
But what Sanaya doesn't know is who else is playing.
We teach them how to be responsible digital citizens.
Samantha Hosker is Director of Education.
We bring them awareness to cyberbullying, how to recognize those red flags online.
And teaching kids to recognize those red flags is critical because the threat they face now is one of the most alarming law enforcement has seen in years.
Amy Ramsey. I'm a supervisory special agent with the FBI in Kansas City.
It's called nihilistic violent extremists, or NVEs. In plain terms, online radicalization with a violent, deadly goal. NVEs were first documented in 2021. Known groups such as the 764 Network or No Lives Matter.
It's basically a hatred for our society values and with a drive to cause chaos and destruction in our communities.
Breaking news, 3 men were killed in a shooting.
Chaos and destruction all too familiar. May 18th, 2 teens opened fire on the Islamic Center of San Diego, killing 3 people, all while live streaming the attack before taking their own lives. The FBI says the young gunmen were radicalized online, motivated by nihilistic violent extremism. And Kansas City, this is closer than you think.
So just like all of our offices nationally, we have seen a rise in NVE activity. We have seen nihilistic violent extremism activity on both sides of the state line, yes.
Agent Ramsey declined to discuss case specifics, but says if you have a child between 11 and 18, that's exactly who is being targeted.
It really starts in a benign way, just building rapport and building a friendship.
Once that trust is established, predators then move their victims to encrypted platforms where they're nearly impossible to track.
How is this different from the online predator that we've heard about from years?
So nihilistic violent extremism has taken the sexual extortion that we've seen for years and sort of ramped it up to be more violent.
Violence that begins with what Ramsey calls blood signs.
Writing names in blood, on a notebook or on a wall. Also, any violence against siblings or pets.
The behavior often escalates, quickly turning sinister.
What is the end game of these predators here?
The end goal for them is for a victim to, in fact, suicide or to commit an act of mass violence. That is their goal. They want to create chaos and destruction in our society.
So how do you stop them?
What goal do you have to reach?
The answer, agents say, starts long before a child ever encounters a predator.
Mariah, why'd you hit me?
And the Boys and Girls Club is already working to arm kids with the tools they need.
It can start with one comment or one little interaction with someone online. So making sure we teach them how to be aware of those things.
And these are my unicorn friends right here.
So come tomorrow, Sanaya will log on,
576.
play her games, and make friends.
It's not a trustive sort.
The difference is, thanks to what she's learning here,
Hey, we all in.
she knows more
Not to trust every other source that everybody else plays, because it's not always safe.
about who might be watching.
And parents play a role here too. Know the apps and games your child uses. Be nosy. And if you suspect NVE activity, agents say most important, remain calm. Preserve any evidence and contact the FBI. And also, if you or someone you know is in crisis, call or text 988. Sharon, Chen, KCTV5 News.
Some important tips there. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But I do want to start off with how you opened and decided to close the story. Why did you choose the young girl? Her name is Anaya, right?
Yes, she
Why
was
did you choose to start with
absolutely
her?
adorable.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we do these stories, we want to provide a tangible element that people can hook into. Now, if I have Agent Ramsey up on her own, chances are a lot of people will look at that and say, that's an official. I'm really tired of listening to officials. And so Sanaya kind of gives us that tangible element, but at the same time, this is reality. Kids play video games every day. And so that is to get the message home that kids are on gaming platforms every day and you don't know who else is out there playing with them.
And I would think that it's even more important right now, this story, Sharon, this FBI warning with summer now in full swing. And then you also have the World Cup. So I do want to touch on the 11 to 18-year-olds being targeted right now. I mean, what makes them so vulnerable? Why are they the targets online right now?
I think because they are the ones that play the most and they're the ones that engage in the peer-to-peer chats and the peer-to-peer interaction, and a lot of these predators, they focus on that. And, you know, I have people saying, oh, well, I make sure I set those parameters and others can't get into the chat rooms. Well, but think about this. Predators are smart.
Yeah.
They can easily change the age that they are, and then they're in the chat room just like that, speaking with kids. And so I think that's why this particular age group is so focused on, but also this is kind of what agents are seeing too, as these kids are the targets.
And so I do want to touch on something you said in your story, is that the FBI says that they tend to move kids to encrypted platforms. Did they learn, which types of apps or features that parents need to be, did they name them for you?
So we did not specifically name the apps, not just us, but the FBI too, because a lot of these apps and gaming platforms are involved in lawsuits right now. And of course, we ourselves don't want to be a part of those lawsuits, but really, she said it can be any gaming app, any gaming platform that basically has that peer-to-peer interaction. And that's scary because you think about all those games that are out there that kids are on, if anything that has that peer-to-peer interaction where they can get in and chat, that's what they're talking about.
And some of the things you said in your story, I mean, it really just, I don't know, it makes you shiver a little bit. It really wakes you up, just the rise in NVE activity. And then also you saying during that drone shot, the rise, or it's closer than you think. And so as a parent, you are a parent as well. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's frightening. I mean, you think, when we grew up, when we were younger, we didn't have everything that faces our kids now, especially as a parent. I mean, I'm learning every single day what's happening online. What do I need to watch for? when it comes to online, I mean, there is something new every single day. For example, I didn't know with Pinterest. Did you know you could chat on Pinterest with other people? I had no idea.
I did not know that. I thought it was only like a saving, like a photo platform, or maybe just getting ideas. I didn't know you could chat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's these type of things where parents are learning new things every single day. And what's also interesting too is when I was doing this story and I was speaking with Agent Ramsey, and they said that this particular type of crime is so new that they're also adjusting the way that they find these suspects and capture suspects, because I mean, essentially this, you know, the internet is like the wild, wild west. So we're all learning new things every day.
Yeah. And you know what? I was going to dive into that exactly. How are they tracking these suspects but they are just learning, just like us, how to really navigate all of it.
Yeah, they are learning. But what's difficult about NVEs and in online crimes is a lot of these suspects, they operate globally.
Yeah.
You know, they're not anywhere near where the crimes are occurring. On top of that, they're hidden. They're behind the secret of the internet. You know, I mean, they can't, it's difficult. And a lot of these crimes too, where they are occurring, are in encrypted chat rooms.
Yeah.
And so those are a lot of times undetectable. So it is a lot of elements, but I think that agents, what they told me is, yes, they're developing new ways to go after these suspects, but they are doing it and they're finding ways to do it.
Right. And another thing that really shocked me is you asked, you know, what is the end goal with all of this? And her answer, her response was, you know, it's either suicide or they want chaos. I mean, they want these mass shootings or whatever it might be. As you were putting this story together, as you were talking maybe with the FBI expert, what shocked you the most, Sharon?
That in particular was the most chilling, because I asked her, what is the end game here? And you heard her answer. And I asked her, I said, so it sounds like why they're doing this is it's just for fun. She goes, that's exactly it. It's for fun, which is just unbelievable to me. This isn't for financial, this isn't for personal, you know, gratification. It's for fun that they want to create this chaos.
So how did you decide in the editing process, really take us behind the scenes, like what to add in, what was necessary to add in and what was necessary to leave out? Because I think it's always that fear of, we don't want to encourage bad actors, you know? So how did you go about that?
Well, this particular story, when I first wrote it out, I mean, it was so long. And it's funny, I had just had this conversation with our anchor Lauren Magarino last night, but really it's paring down what elements are most important that I want parents to know. For me, it was what I want parents to know, because for me, this whole thing is so frightening to me. And it can happen. The other thing that Agent Ramsey said, that it can happen to anyone, it can happen anywhere. So what do parents need to know to protect their kids? That's what I was going for in this story.
And again, going back to the fact that we are now in the summer months. So it's like you have to really step up. And I love the tips that you had there at the end. I mean, even the 988, making sure like we really emphasize that as well. So what follow-up questions, if any, do you still have after doing this report, or what are you going to follow up on?
I think what's most important is if we can kind of narrow down the real activity that's going on here. She was reluctant to speak about case specifics because a lot of this is under investigation. But as we move forward and some of the stuff comes to light more, I would like to learn more about what are the groups that are operating that they're seeing here, and the kids that are specifically being targeted, and more like not only what can parents do online, but what can we as the community do to you know, get at this issue, but also lawmakers, what are you doing to fix this, to protect kids from this? Because it also comes from the law side too. What kind of laws are we enacting to keep this kind of activity activity from happening here.
Yeah, you know what? This report may start some major conversation, Sharon. And then also, speaking of timing and the age, going back to the 11 to 18, that is such a pivotal age range right there. Because you're also thinking about kids that are preparing to go to college and be on their own. And so if they don't learn those tips now and what they need to be doing to stay safe, they could be in danger's way once they get to college and they're on their own. So an amazing story here, and it is very, very timely, very, very important. Is there anything else that our viewers need to know before I let you go?
No, I think just the most important thing for kids and parents is to be vigilant. Again, this can happen anywhere, anytime. So it's important that you know the signs, parents know the signs, and kids know what to look for when you play the games, things that make you feel uncomfortable, and be okay to talk about it. That's what's important there.
Creating the space for them to feel comfortable as well. Alrighty, so we're going to turn to our website, kctv5.com. This is currently posted on our homepage. But Sharon, also, it's going to be airing later on tonight going into the weekend. So when will it air?
It will air tonight at 10 and also at 4 o'clock too.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, you'll have to tune in then. But if you are going to be out and about, you can definitely head over to our website. You can also download the KCTV5 News app and check it out right now. Sharon, Chen, thank you so much. And we'll see you in just a bit for another Behind the Stories look.
Love it.